Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about the X20 Pro from Atomstack, and it's a quad laser machine which can engrave a range of different material, which I have in this top here. I have done quite a few videos already, so if you want to catch up on different materials you can, but today I'm mainly going to talk about acrylic. I was sent by Amazon some free stuff to test, and one of them is this kind of acrylic stand. So the acrylic itself is about, let me check again, let me zero this properly. So the acrylic is 2 millimeters, and it's completely clear. I tried to cut it with the laser, but I failed miserably. So the diode laser is just not for cutting clear acrylic. But to engrave it, I have a different level of success. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks that I learned along the way with the machine. Here is two examples of what I did. This is a sheet, so this is not really engraving on acrylic, although it did engrave, but the reason why it looks so good is because it sprayed it black. So basically it's just spray paint covering the whole layer, and you can see that my newbie skill at aligning, so that was quite terrible, got a bit of image cut off. And what it does essentially is the burn of the spray on top, and then engrave a little bit of the plastic acrylic underneath. And you can see that it's really sharp, and I really like this kind of design. But if you are looking at engraving a acrylic, so this is what engraving acrylic is supposed to look like. Now this one here still, I will say, is about 80% of what I want it to be. There's a lot of cracking in the acrylic itself, so basically there's too much heat. And the other thing is, you can see the engraving is quite dark, and the reason of that is because this is not actually engraving the acrylic itself. It's actually using a piece of metal with spray black paint, and you engrave. The laser goes through the acrylic, hit the bottom layer, and the bottom layer of the metal kind of get heated so hot it melts the back of the acrylic. And this is not perfect because the spray paint that I use is black, so when it kind of vaporizes, it leaves a lot of mess behind, and when you try to clean it, it's not 100% clean. And because it's black, it really show up on the clear acrylic, so it's not the best medium for the engraving. And the other thing is, light burn by default have a lot of different setting available. So for example, this one here, the laser is going like left, right, left, right, left, right. What I find that is the returning of the laser, for example, the traveling of laser from one end to another and then come back, because it's crossing path each time, it's actually producing so much heat that it cracks the acrylic, no matter how slow or how fast. If I do it in multiple passes, then yeah, you can build it up slowly without the crack, but that will take too long. So I changed the setting to just directional, so every time the laser just sweep, turn off, come back, and then sweep again. I think that enough for the acrylic to not build up so much heat, but still fast enough to achieve what I want to achieve. And all my settings are tested individually, so when you get your acrylic, you probably need to do some setting as well. So you can use mine as the base setting, but here I really want you to see that, you know, this 3 letter B is with a new type of spray. This is a primer that I spray on top of the metal plate, which came with the machine as a protective layer for your base. And I do increase in power, so this is 4025%, so 4000 millimeter per minute, and 25 or 30%, I need to check. So as you can see, it's a very nice engraving on acrylic. It's not black color like this one here, which looks a bit dirty rather than engraved properly. Some people might like that actually, but for me, I think engraving acrylic should be quite sharp and clean with a laser. And this one I don't need to clean up at all. So I didn't go around and wipe the back or anything like that. I didn't. Basically, it just come out like that. And the other thing good about using this method is that it's very easy to align your material, because what I did was that I actually engraved lightly on the gray medium without the acrylic, so it leaves a mark behind, and then when you put your acrylic on top, you can actually see where the image is. And because the X20 Pro have a homing button, so that it will be quite accurately go back to where it engraved last time and start again, all you need to do is change the setting. So I set it to really low power, enough to make a mark on the surface, and then I put the acrylic on top and then go to the power which I need, and then we engrave. So I'm going to show you some example in a minute, and let's switch to the camera angle. So here is what I was talking about. So you can see the B letter, which is what I engraved on the acrylic. And if I take up this piece of metal, and you can see this is basically a piece of metal where I spray gray. And the other side is what I did before. This is just black spray paint, and this is the gray primer. And the primer I use is this one here, called Primer Super Plastic Coat. It's quite a famous company in the UK. I don't know if you can get it in America, but basically just cheap primer. I think this is $4.50 for a 400 ml, and this one will last forever. And the good thing about this is when you finish engraving, for example, this one here, you just spray it on again to cover it, and then that's it. You can do it again and again and again. If you leave a mark like this and engrave over it, what you will find is you will find an image of that instead of what you try to engrave as well, and it's going to mess up your image. So make sure you use a clean part of the thing, and when you have enough, stand it down or just spray over it, and then you can have a new surface again, which is super easy to do. Okay, so first thing I need to do is engrave the picture with a very low power. I'm going to go with just 10%, and I'm going to change fill to just the line. So what this will do is this will just outline what I want to engrave onto the gray medium, and I can see a very faint outline of what the real picture is supposed to be. I mean, you can do it a bit darker, but it might affect the later result, because you don't want to burn off all the material. You want the material to vaporize while the acrylic is on top. Alright, so here is the finished product, and if I lift it up, then you can see that the engraving is transferred onto the acrylic. Okay, first let's have a look at the metal plate itself. So on the metal plate, so there is some burn residue on the plate itself. So that is why it looks a bit blurry on the acrylic, but that's perfectly normal. I think you just wipe it down or you just spray over it, and you can use this board again and again and again. And in terms of the acrylic, obviously you can't really see the details, but it is being engraved. And if I turn around, let's see if I can get some wipe and clean. It's not really a deep engraving, it's more like you just burn off the surface. I mean, if I really want to, I can run it on the same, obviously without moving it out. I can do another pass Now I will be quite reluctant to increase my power anymore, because what happened is when I increase the power beyond 25, I think it creates so much heat in the acrylic that it will actually cause some cracking inside. Now if you time it right, then the cracking actually adds a bit of sparkling to your acrylic. But a lot of the time, the crack is just like annoying lines coming through, which I really don't like. Alright guys, so what do you think? I made the little light stand with a few LEDs, just 3 LEDs in there. I think really stand out. By no means it's not perfect yet. I mean, this is really my first engraving on acrylic. I can still improve on the neatness of the engraving. I think it's a bit too hot. I think I needed to do on 2 pass. So maybe instead of 25%, I think 20%, but do it on 2 pass. I think that will be turn out a lot better. Alright, so I will never accept substandard work, so I can't really go to sleep knowing that it was a bit blurry on the graphics. So this is take 2, and I already can see that it makes a big improvement by using 4000 millimeter per minute, which is exactly the same speed as before. But I turned down the power to 20% instead of 25, so 5% less. But I run it at 2 passes, so lower power, but twice it going through the acrylic. So let's compare the results, because I really want to nail this and start making some productions. So this one on the right, I can see this is the one has been cleaned up already. So this is the one which has a 25% power and 1 pass. And this one here is the 20% but 2 passes. And I can see that the line and the definition is a lot stronger compared to this one. This one is a bit blurred at the edges. You can see the arrow there, the corner. You can see the arrow there is kind of missing, and then there's a kind of a little crack spot there, which is basically too hot. W there is very dark in the middle but light in the side. But where is this one here is a lot more even than the one before. And if I give this a clean, and it should come out a lot better as well. I really should get the air duster, like my compressor, to blow the dust off instead of wiping, because I think that even though the primer is quite a big improvement to the spray, the spray paint, the black spray paint, I think it can still leave a bit of a mark. So this is my second attempt as laser engraving the clear acrylic. I think this is turned out a lot better. Definitely a lot more definition, a lot less blurry edges. I think as time goes, and when I kind of like finally narrow down my setting, then it will be perfect. There's still some speckle of kind of an overburn, so it still is not perfect. I don't know if I can kind of pick them out for you guys to see what's happening. Not sure what those speckles are. If you know what they are, let me know. So what do you think? Impressive, right? And this is light up by 3 LEDs in this 5-volt low power LED. Okay, I think I definitely can see some improvement. So the one on the left is 2 passes at 20%, and the right one is at 25%, 1 pass. All right, now I can go to sleep knowing that I have done an okay job. See you guys next time. Bye bye.